Hello, wonderful people. See Kevbot and Pat Moss already in the chat. Lovely to see you guys again. And as you can probably tell, I actually remembered to set up my microphone this time. So you'll have to tell me if it's like too close, too loud. Hope you guys are doing okay and having a wonderful time. It has been very odd weather today here. Sound is perfect. Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, it was really overcast for most of the day, and then it suddenly chucked it down right when I was about to seal some models, which was like, thank you, weather. Could you be any less helpful? And now it's hot and sunny again, so don't know what's up with that. But yes, we are back, and this is my current project. You may remember Gigi Valentine from my previous streams. She did not have white markings back then. I did all of this last night. I really like her base coat. This is her factory coat, her factory paint, the brown. And I love the bay. I love the clear bay, but I don't collect solid coat models because I don't know. I like my models to have a bit of pizzazz, a bit of something interesting going on. So yes, she's getting some lovely markings, and today I'm going to be going over these and solidifying them so that they're opaque, and obviously putting some colour into her mane, because where horses have white markings, of course, they tend to have white in the mane, where there is white in the coat. Wayfaring Fox, welcome, welcome. How wonderful to see you. Thank you, thank you. Yes, she is starting to look a little snazzier than her factory job. Volodymyr, welcome. Hello. Lovely to see you all. Right, I'm going to get started on mixing some paint. I tend to mix different white shades depending on the base coat of the model that I'm working on. Typically on warm coat models, I will go in with a beige undercoat, which I will then go in on top of with ivory, which creates a sort of warm tone, like the like you can see the color of the skin through the white. So that's what I'm doing currently on Gigi. But I'm really liking it. Probably isn't showing very well on the camera at the moment, but I am liking the slightly pinkish off-white white on her. So I might not, excuse me, bother going in with the ivory on this particular model. Let's see, which paintbrush was I using? That one. There we go. I'm using water to thin out my paint as usual. I use spring water for the most part. It tends to have less contaminants in it than tap water. I can never really be sure what's in tap water these days. I certainly don't tend to drink it if I can help it. The stuff where we are tastes more like chlorine. It's like drinking pool water, really. But I tend to thin my paint down to quite a milky consistency because if it goes on too thick, it has brush strokes in it. You should make a digital version of your horses so that I can put them in my Zoombella habitat for them. Oh, I wish I could. Oh, that would be amazing. The pink base for white works really well. I love that you can knock the white back and emphasize it with layers. Yes, it's so much fun layering, honestly. Especially because it can really help like make the white look three-dimensional as opposed to just being painted onto the model. Especially because you can add in a bit more of the beige pink in it, like behind the elbows and the inner leg as well, where the hair would naturally be thinner on the model as well. and sort of like in the under cheek area and things like that. And then, you know, have it a little more starkly white on the main body parts. So yeah, I really like the control that blending colors gives me when it comes to whites. So I'm going to go back in on her face. This is something about me when it comes to painting white markings, is that I do it in the same order every time. So each time I start a new layer, I start at the same place that I started the last layer. Just seems to be a bit of a habit of mine. Do you have to paint along with the muscles on the model to make it look even better, or does that not matter? I mean, yes, to an extent. On models, I will always do my paint strokes in the direction that the hair would go on a real animal, so that even if there are brush strokes showing, it will look natural. But putting some soft shadows in the creases of the muscles, especially in white markings, can really add some depth and dimension to the finished coat as well. So yes, definitely. That also works in doing color with pastel, adding highlights to the raised parts of the muscles and a little bit of like a low light to the dips can really help bring out depth as well. So building all of that up throughout the process of creating a model is all contributing to creating a very soft, realistic looking coat. And if you know me, you know I love my realism. So Lucy, hello, welcome, great to see you. How are you doing? There's no problem with working on a large model, it's hard to keep it all in frame. Been relieved of Jasper put down tonight. He wanted his dad. No, that's sweet. That's great because you get to come and hang out with me and all of us are lovely folks. It's always such a lovely, friendly community in the chat here. I absolutely love it. I love all of you guys. Yes, and paint your own ponies, of course. Are you working on the sitting Frisian, or are you still wanting to do more sculpting on her? Horses in Planet Zoo are Przewalskis, so a little bit different, just like zebras. Yeah, there are Przewalskis in Planet Zoo. I love Przewalskis. I actually have two in the workshop at the moment. They're both commissions. One of which is for the lovely Lucy, who is in chat at the moment. She has very generously given me full range to do whatever I want. The only specifications she's given me is that it must be a cave pony, so I am going to have so much fun with that. Yay, surprise pony. More sculpting on her tail. Need to flesh it out more. Ah, okay. What models are you working on at the moment then? Or are you sculpting? It's always so nice when I know other people are working in their own studios when I'm working. It's like a painting buddy. Can't believe how many layers it takes to really make a white solid. Even with, whoops, let's just go and put it all over a chin as well. Why not? That's a fabulous idea, isn't it? Even when you're not using solid white, because solid white takes hours to build up solid, but obviously I wouldn't personally use solid white on a model. unless I was doing like a very, very clean show horse or something, it ends up looking not quite natural. Finishing Appy for Daisy, laying Frisian Mirror full, Frisian Sitting Tail, Nabby Unicorn. Amazing. You've got your work cut out for you, haven't you? That is quite the list of projects you've got there. I mean, not that I can talk. I currently have like 4 Breyers ongoing and about 8 Schleich and Collecte. So I can't talk. Thank you, Patmos. That means a lot. The nice thing about freestyling white markings, I find, is that there's not really much pressure to get it right, because if you do like slip, which I tend to because I'm an artist with a shake, unfortunately, and sometimes there's a hair on my model and it is annoying me. Go away. There we go. Sometimes I will randomly put a brush stroke somewhere where I really didn't need there to be a brush stroke. And if I'm having to follow a reference, like I'm doing a commission that has a very specific set of markings that I need to stick to, that can be annoying because then I have to take it off and make sure it's not left any marks on the model. But when I'm just freestyling on something of my own, then I can just go with the flow and incorporate it into the pattern like it was meant to be there. I planned it to be there all along. No one will ever know. Except you lot now, because I've just told you. Accidental Pinto. Yeah, I love accidental Pinto. It's like my favorite kind of accident. I will never complain about more white markings on a horse. That will never happen. That's part of the reason that I've set my commissions to case by case only, because there are lots of people, lots of amazing artists out there who can knock out absolutely stunning solid and minimal coats. And while I can do minimal or solid coats, it doesn't appeal to me. There's no fun in it. So I prefer taking commissions if the commission itself interests me, because that's how I know I'm going to want to put my full heart into it. If I'm not going to put my full heart into a commission, then there's really no sense in my taking it, because my work's never going to be as good if I'm not invested in the work that I'm doing. So obviously prehistorics, primals, like fantasies, like the moment I'm working on sculpting Morse, who will have his 3rd and final video installment out soon. I'm working on that. I'm sculpting his neck at the moment. But he is a mule zebra hybrid, which is very obviously fantasy. Like, you wouldn't really get that in real life. Most mules are sterile. There's been the odd one that's not, but I think that is mainly hinnies, which are female mules. They can very occasionally be fertile and carry offspring, but I'm not sure whether there's been any cases of actual mules being fertile. But either way, yeah, I love mules, and I absolutely love zebra hybrids. You only need to look at my Instagram page to know that. So best of both worlds. I love horses that have ears for days. Like, the bigger the ears, the better I like it. Yeah, another video very soon, hopefully. I've already put part of another one together. I'm making a grooming caddy, build your own grooming caddy and accessories tutorial for classic Breyers. at the moment, which I nearly finished 2 weeks ago, but then I ran out of glue. Anything with stripes too? Yep, absolutely. I am all about the stripes. If it's got stripes, it's for me. So yeah, I am terrible at procrastinating. I need to go into town and get some more of the glue that I use for my wood projects, but I haven't gotten there yet, so that's on hold until I can do that. Bring on the horses, absolutely. Need a whole herd of them. It didn't mix entirely well. Where's the beige gone? There we go. I love it when markings start to get to the point where they actually look like they're part of the coat. It always annoys me when a model is in that initial stage where you've got one coat of white on and it just looks like it's got liquid chalk smeared all over it, and I'm like, this is never going to look good, and then you just have to grind away at it for a while, and eventually it'll end up looking like hair rather than like a kid got their hands on it. But getting there takes patience, and let me tell you, that's something I don't always have in great supply. I'm a very want it now kind of person. I think that's part of the reason that I hate doing models that require a lot of sealing, because I just want to get on and paint the model, and I don't like having to wait overnight for the sealant to dry in between. Sounds good though. So if you're doing a tutorial, have to start making things for your classics. Yeah, definitely. Your whites look great though. Mine, what do you seal between every white layer? No. I let them dry thoroughly in between layers, because if you put a white layer on top of another white layer that's not fully cured, like the paint it's still slightly tacky, then the layer underneath won't seal properly, and especially if you're using paint as thin as I use it, then you can start lifting off the layers underneath with the wet paint. But once acrylic's fully hardened, it is pretty much waterproof, so then you can just go back over it again. I've just sealed the herring details that I did on Moki in, and her Appaloosa markings, I think I've got about 8 layers on those markings, and I didn't seal between any of them. I just wait for the paint to finish curing with each layer. In this weather, that doesn't take very long, like maybe 10 minutes tops, because it's just so warm, and acrylic dries super fast when it's warm. Welcome back, Patmos. Need to get the consistency right. Yours keeps cracking. Oh no. That's not good. What brand of acrylic are you using? Because I have had that happen before with a couple of different acrylic brands. For some reason, it's only ever happened with white. I don't know why. I use a different brand of white acrylic now to the brand I use for the rest of my paint. Most of my acrylic colours that I use for manes, tails, eyes, etc., I use a mixture of Crawford and Blacks and Boldmere. But for most of my whites now, I either use this one, which is Do Crafts. It's just an all-round artist acrylic I picked up from my local hobby shop, but it's surprisingly good quality. And then the other one I use is a more expensive one. I'll send you a picture of it later because I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But no, if I use the standard Boldmere or Crawford and Black's white, it separates a lot more. I suppose another answer could be that you, because I don't know what you use to mix it with. But I know if you're having that trouble with paint, it's often a good idea to use acrylic blending medium, like acrylic thinner, rather than water to thin it with. Do I paint actual eyes on them with pupils? I do, yes. Which is always pretty daunting because they're so tiny. But I do that on all of my horses. Especially because the direction a horse is looking can contribute so much to its character. Totem, for example, that I'm holding right now, she's got a very gentle personality. And I wanted to have like a very, very laid back, gentle expression. Whereas some like more spirited models, I like to have the eyes like rolled slightly back or sideways to give them like a proper cheeky, mischievous expression that sort of gives them that personality. Acrylic is more bound to crack when you thin it with water too much, right? Because the binder will be thin too much. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think the max ratio of acrylic to water to prevent cracking is 30%. It's advised not to go over that. Show you here in the camera. This is the consistency that I'm using. So it's not wet enough to run if you pool it, but it's wet enough that if you make a line with it, the brush strokes even themselves out so that they're not showing in the paint. And that's the ratio I stick to. That's worked for me. I've never had the paint crack or fall off my model doing it like that. But if you thin it too much, then the paint itself becomes grainy because the entire composition of it has separated out. War Paint Fanatics and Art Studio of Vallejo, it's happened too. Don't know if I'm diluting too much. It's not every horse that it happens on. I guess it would partly depend on the consistency of the paint brand that you're using, and also partly on how far you're diluting it. If you're going to dilute it over 30%, definitely get some acrylic diluting substance, because that replaces the binder in the acrylic, so that the acrylic has something to latch onto when it's separated. I've been thinking about investing in some myself for a while, but my current technique doesn't really cause me any issues at the moment, so I haven't bothered. Good to know. I definitely overwater my paint. It's easy to do. That's the thing, because you just you just get into this habit of like dipping your brush in the water, mixing, putting it on the model, dip, mix, put it on the model. And then gradually your paint just gets more and more dilute. I've noticed that I do that when I start running out of paint on the palette, and I end up like over diluting it slightly in an attempt to keep the color I'm working with, because it can be so hard to remix that color again. I think also the thing is, though, if you're over diluting acrylic and you're putting that acrylic on a canvas, it's eventually going to fall off. Whereas if you're over diluting it slightly, but you're putting it on a model and then you seal that in, the sealant is going to bind and keep it there. So that in itself means that that's not as big a concern for model artists as it would be for traditional canvas artists. But even so, like, it's never a good idea to drastically over dilute your mediums, because even if it's all right, like now, give it like 10, 20 years down the line and it might suddenly start having issues. How your work turns out when you finish your project is never the most important part. It's how your work is going to hold up through the years, whether it'll still be in the state in which you finished it, 4 decades from now. That's what's really important. Adding some PVA glue, no, probably not, because PVA glue itself, if you mix it with water, it creates a kind of gummy, grainy consistency that doesn't dry properly. It stays tacky, and that probably wouldn't react with sealant over well either. Horses get multiple layers of sealant, especially if working with soft pastels. But when working with paint to create markings, you need something that's going to hold up over time, that's compatible with the paint that you're using. I know that mixing paint and PVA glue is great for tinting glass to look like stained glass or sea glass. I want to try that at some point. But it also has a very glossy effect as well, which I'm not particularly keen on. And it's very thick, and when you're working on models, you want to keep your layers as thin as possible, because otherwise it can start cancelling out the actual detail in the sculpt itself. It's definitely something I did in my very early days as a painter. I didn't used to dilute my paint at all. Back when I first started, I was just going in with neat acrylic, and the paint would fill up all of the little detail. This is when I was painting Schleich horses, obviously, which are a lot smaller, but it would fill up all of the details in the face. And that always really annoyed me. But it took me a while to figure out that I needed to thin my paint down in order to do multiple layers and fix that problem. I think I'm going to use a different brush for the majority of the legs, so I'm just going to go around the shoulder with this one. It's another thing I really like to do when I'm doing whites, is to get a brush that you can splay the tips out a bit like this, because then, let me turn around a bit so you can see, as you're working, it creates a natural hair detailing edge to your white markings, which I think is an absolutely great way of softening out the edges of them without having to do multiple teeny tiny strokes with the detailing brush. What's everyone's plans for the coming week? You got any projects lined up? Anything exciting that you're doing? Places that you're going? Sienna and Polly's Pony Adventures, welcome, welcome. How are you? Wonderful to have you. It's a place that's easy to forget on the model is the tummy. The amount of times that I just forget that a horse has a tummy is just, it's ridiculous, honestly. No, but Jasper's last week of school, so going to the farm place of his school. Ooh, that sounds fun. Is he looking forward to that? I mean, I expect it probably is. It's animals, isn't it? This is Jasper we're talking about. Tomorrow I have to do a funeral and attend my nephew's musical to celebrate finished primary school, and Wednesday and Thursday the dog comes here and I'll do adulting. I'm not sure what else. Oh, that's nice. What kind of musical are they doing? Are they like doing their own version of an existing one, or is that one that the school's made up, or Shire horses? Know if they're still there. Oh, okay. I mean, it'd be nice if they are. I love Shire horses. No idea, it's all a surprise. Fair enough. But since there's 24 kids aged 12, I don't expect a Broadway piece. No, I can imagine that would be quite the cacophony, actually. Highlights on horse reminded me of an old joke. Pierre Curie says to wife, "Mary, honey, you're very radiant." Ah, love it. Hey, Trouble, welcome, welcome. Great to see you. How are you? I'm busy giving one of my factory finish mares some markings because I really like her factory coat colour, but I don't collect plain coated models, so I'm jazzing her up a bit with some nice shiny white markings. This is where we're at currently. Hope you and Body Shot are both well. Doing good. Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Let's see. Don't think. No, I didn't do that one. Okay, that's where we're at then. Crazy how quickly you get through paint, even when you thin it down. See, I did that. Yeah, I did those two. Okay, so we are on this one. Hey, Body Shot! Hello, hello! Great to see you. Hope you're keeping well. May have to commission a zombie horse. Oh, don't tempt me. Seriously, don't tempt me. I like anything that's like zombie undead. It's so cool. Like, I was going to do a zombie custom last Halloween, but me and deadlines don't really work, so I ended up not doing it. I think I got as far as priming the model, and it's still sat on my work shelf staring at me. I think it's because I got ambitious and decided that I wanted to, like, instead of just painting it, I actually wanted to go ahead and like cut pieces out of it and sculpt some ribs hanging out and stuff. But that was like 2 years ago, so never got around to it. But that is something I would very much take on board. I think you should order a New Zealand sheep. That's what I was doing with the trainer mare you gave me. Zombie horse. Ooh, cool. Yeah, zombie horses are just they're the best. They're right up there with, like, I mean, obviously I love kelpies. And what's the other one called? There's another, it's like a kelpie, but it's like from Native American folklore. Is it called the Wiwin or something? I'm sure that's what it is. Trackner mare, yeah. I will take your word for it on that. I'm not the best with Schleich molds, to be entirely honest with you. I'm better with Breyers. My knowledge of Schleichs goes as far as, oh, it looks cool, so I'm going to paint it and turn it into something else. Doesn't matter what it was originally. That probably sounds terrible, but hey, that's just the way it is. I suppose when you're not like actually a collector of something, it doesn't latch onto your brain in the same way, because obviously I collect Breyers. I paint Schleichs to sell, but I don't. I'm not like an invested collector of them. So ran out of time after Blob Horse, but Blob Horse was so cool. Honestly, the way you pulled that off was just amazing. I should really try and get a Halloween custom out this year. My problem is that I tend to wait till the last minute and then I run out of time. If I started at this end of the year, then I might actually get somewhere, but Obviously, I'm doing like a creepy carousel horse at the minute for my own collection, but that's not. Obviously, I wouldn't be selling that as a sales piece unless I was like given an offer I couldn't refuse, obviously, because money is money. But yeah, I have to think about that. Let me know what sort of Halloween themed pony do you think I should do if I was going to do one. That could be a very cool challenge. Tried selling it, but no one wants Blob Horse. Oh, but it's Blob Horse. It's amazing. Maybe you should make a baby Blob Horse to go with it. That might make people think that it's irresistible. Because who wouldn't want a baby Blob Horse? Ooh, a pumpkin sauce, utilizing the primitive markings. Ooh, now you're talking. You're talking my language. I like that idea a lot. Now we just need a Halloween horse collab. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got to do that prehistoric horse collab as well on the Hipparion mold. Hopefully tomorrow. It won't be raining, so I'll be able to seal those models, which I was going to be doing today. I was in the shed shaking my can of sealant, and all of a sudden the heavens opened and I had to run for the house because it was chucking it down. So that put paid to my sealing endeavours for the day. But that's fine, that's tomorrow. And then I can, once I've got those sealed, I might do some priming at the same time, because I've got a couple of commission pieces that need priming for when I finished my current bunch of commissions. Will you do themed horses, Halloween, Christmas, etc.? I've thought about it. Definitely thought about it. It's just getting the timing right, really, for me, and also because, like, you know, there's a lot of artists out there that do holiday themed specials, as they're called in the model horse world, and because of that, I wouldn't want to do that unless I could come up with like a really original idea for it, something that would be very unique. Because obviously, I don't really want to do like a run of the mill horse wearing a Santa hat or anything. That's boring. And obviously, I have a bit of time blindness, so I don't really notice the year going past. And then by the time I'm like, oh, I should do a Christmas horse this year. It's already November, and I'm not a quick customizer. So if I'm gonna like plan a model for a specific date, I have to start it like 3 months ahead of time. But that's definitely something that I would find extremely cool. And also, again, it would also depend on like what model I would be doing it on, size-wise, because I've really been getting into my Breyers lately. I've wanted to for a long time, but I've only recently felt that my painting skills have been up to attempting something of this scale. But I know that at the moment, anyway, a lot of my customer base is very much in the Schleich Collecte collecting scene. So if I was going to do it as like a special for maybe even do like a couple of specials, I would probably sort of feel out what people would want to see it on. How many is in 3 months? Can you not? Can you really not? Because like I don't feel like we even started the year yet, and it's already like half gone. It's terrifying. I don't know what happened. Work is absolutely stunning. Thank you. That means a lot. Year is going too quick. It is. It is. It's some years do that. It's terrifying. Like some years just like 2020 just seemed to drag on forever and ever and ever, and I don't know what happened to 2023. That just disappeared. And this year's being a bit like that. It's like hello, and now I'm gone. AFK for a bit. No worries, Patmos. Okay, I think that's the majority. Okay, I've overspilled a bit there. Let me see if I can. Never mind, I can probably take that off again in a bit. Let's move on to hind markings for a little bit. Might have to just mix up some new paint though, I'm nearly out. There we go. Back in business. So glad I deal with colour in a digital format. Trying to remix a matching paint colour would do my head. Well, I mean, it's never entirely matching, to be honest, but because I'm doing it sort of like wet into wet, it all ends up blending in the end. If I'm trying to do colour matching for hooves now, though, that is a problem. Yeah, to mix more than I need to make sure I have enough if I'm doing that. And also manes and tails, like if I'm using a really specific shade for a a main or something, and I run out when I've only done like 2/3 of the main, I will be cursing because remixing the exact same shade is impossible, because by that point the shade I was using is dried on my palette. But the problem is that acrylic dry is approximately 2 shades darker than it is wet, which means if I remix the fresh batch to color match the dried acrylic, then the fresh batch is going to dry 2 shades darker than the rest of the acrylic on the model. It is so frustrating. From that perspective, I do prefer doing digital art because, like, my colors don't randomly change while I'm using them. Yeah, the eyedropper tool is a lifesaver. Although, to be honest, I think being a digital artist for, I don't even know how long I've been doing digital art now, since I was like 14, so a while, has definitely contributed to my understanding of layering color. Because when I started transferring my skills, I've always been a physical artist too, don't get me wrong. I still do traditional pencil art as well. But with digital art, I found that when I moved on to doing horses, my understanding of color blending and color theory from doing digital art really helped me with being able to look at a horse coat color and figure out what color layers I need to do in order to achieve it in paint. So it's fascinating how two completely different types of art can help each other out. Prints on garments are completely different too. Yeah. I suppose as well as that, when you're printing on fabric, the color of the fabric used can also affect, I would assume, the overall finish of the print as well, because even if it's not necessarily showing through, the surrounding color will affect how your eyes perceive the color of the image on the fabric, which can change how it's presented, I would guess. After 2 more printing, you enjoy. You too. You have a brilliant rest of your day. And thank you ever so much for coming by. It's been amazing seeing you. Always is. Try explaining that to a customer, yeah. Yeah, I imagine that's quite the conversation. No worries, Body Shot. It's been amazing having you here. Always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you again in another stream. I'm very much debating adding mapping to these markings as well. But I'm not sure that I want to do that with paint. I think I would probably do that with watercolour pencils. I love how mapping looks. It can help blend the markings into a coat better as well. So that could be a good look on Totem. So there's this really awkward spot on the back leg where the tail gets in my way, which isn't helpful because it means that my hair directions start going in the wrong direction, which isn't helpful. That. Is Totem based on a character or any horse in particular? No. This is Totem Blue. She was my very first traditional that I ever bought myself. She came with her full Heartbreaker, and they're pretty much the mascots of my Breyer herd and sort of my online name in general as well. So yeah, that's what the name Totem is about. Her foal doesn't have a name yet. I was thinking of her being Totem and him being Blue, but he doesn't really suit the name Blue, so his name is still sort of up in the air. But I'm going to be giving him white markings too. Totem was originally the glossy version of Valentine, but I don't collect glossies, and I got her fairly cheap on eBay. Amazingly, it was 30 quid for her and Heartbreaker, and I was like, well, I'm having that. So I just gave them both the dull coat to take the gloss away. But yes, I absolutely love her to bits. But this is the pattern that I envisaged her having. I've owned her for about 4 years now, and I always envisaged her as being like a pinto of some description. But as I said earlier, it's only recently that I've really sort of taken the plunge with painting my Breyers. So yeah, she's finally stepping into her true form. She really suits the pinto markings. Yeah, I love them on her. I don't think there are enough pintos on the Giselle mold, to be honest. She takes it so well, and yet I see people doing like a lot of like dapple greys and dapple bays on her and stuff, but not as many pintos as I would expect. And Mr. Tatum Breyers with £30. Such a steal these days. Oh, I know. Like trying to find anything under 50 on eBay now is like, well, you've hit gold if you do, basically. Like that doesn't happen. I mean, the little the warm blood stallion that I'm turning into my Zorse Pinto, the one that I posted a picture of on my story yesterday, I think. I've just drilled a hole for his tail wire and pulled his front leg forward so that he's a bit more extended. He was my first classic that I ever bought myself. He came without a tail. I didn't take that off. But I got him for £3 on eBay. And I've never found any other Breyer horse, even in body condition, honestly, for that kind of price since. And I just keep scouring every day because, like, you know, I'm a bargain hunter at the end of the day. If I can get something cheap, I'm gonna get it, you know. But they are growing increasingly fewer and far between. I notice a lot of people have moved to Vinted to sell their Breyers, which is fine. Only they're taking Breyers that are like very much like to look at. They're very much in body condition, and they're trying to sell them for like retail price. And it's like you can't be doing that. It's not how it works. And then they get all sniffy with you when you make them an offer, even if it's like a very reasonable offer, and they will just like either ignore you or like reject it. And it's like, well, all right, but good luck trying to sell it then. What a win, I know. Back in the days when you could actually pick up bodies for the price of bodies, you know? That's not a sentence I ever thought I'd hear myself saying. That's one for the out of context book. Vinted is such an odd platform. People will just cancel on you for no good reason. I know. Another book, yes, I just said. Yeah, for those of you who are not in on that particular joke, I'm basically making a compilation of the psychopathic things that model horse artists say that would also very conceivably have come from serial killers. Because the amount of times that we talk about having piles of bodies or body parts or chopping legs and heads off is it's terrifying to the casual observer who knows nothing about customizing. Two Frisian mares and a stallion. No. Oh, that would piss me off so much. Because they're not even like easy to get hold of either. I bought a Schleich Javolski the last week on Vinted as a body for a commission that I've got going, and it got stuck at the every sorting plant for nearly 4 days. It just wasn't moving, and it wasn't moving, and it wasn't moving, and I was like, I'm never going to get this thing, am I? Finally showed up today, thank goodness. But I was really starting to think like it's never going to get here. Got to go. Thunderstorm makes signal buffering. Thank you for a great stream. Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry that the thunderstorm's interrupting your internet. That's no fun. But thank you ever so much for being here. And I will see you again either in someone else's stream or in another one of mine. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. I've got 2 Frisian stallions in my body box at the moment. They've been there for months now, but he's so rare now. Like getting him for a good price is virtually impossible. People are trying to sell him for like upwards of 40 quid on Vinted at the moment. It's, excuse me, absolutely atrocious. But I'm saving them because like I want to do something like really like special on them, you know, like something proper extravagant, really out there. And I know I want to do one of them as a Zorse again. Because honestly, like Zuri looked so good. Like the Zorse looks so good on that mold. And obviously, I wouldn't like recreate a second Zuri, but I definitely want to do something with stripes on it again. But what I'm going to do on the other one, I do not know. I know it would probably get snapped up if I offered it for commission, but like I don't know if I really want to do that either because like I mean I love commissions because it means I'm given the chance to bring someone's dream to life, you know, like a dream horse of theirs, and I can like turn that into a physical reality, and I love that I have the ability to do that. But with certain models, it's like I like the freedom to be able to do whatever I want and like do it really extravagantly. I have the Collecte Arabian there at the moment as well in the body box that I also want to do something really special on. But again, it's there's sort of spoilt for choice with that because there's so many coats out there and so many combinations. I just don't know what to choose. Two bodies but want to hoard more for ideas. Refuse to pay 50 for it. Yeah, no, absolutely not. The It's the regular size ones. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had one of the big ones. I know that they have like a classic scale range, don't they? I'm pretty sure it's like 1 in 12 or something that they do. Um, I don't know. I've never actually like seen one in person, but if they're made of the same stuff that the small ones are, then I'm not entirely sure that they would be the most stable to paint on. Like, because obviously when you have models that are slightly bendy, sealing them and keeping paint on them gets a lot harder. But no, the Collecte mare I've got is the average regular run Collecte. I have done one on her before. I was commissioned to do a portrait model of the. Oh, which one is it? Is it the G? I think it's the G3 Pintabian mare from Star Stable Online, which I really enjoyed doing. But I want to do something that's not obviously a portrait model on her as well. So saving her while I figure out what I want to do with that. I think they're supposedly made of a tougher plastic. Oh, okay. A few popped up in Home Bargains a few years back. Really? Oh, wow. Okay. I don't think I have a Home Bargains in my town. But then I live in quite a small town, so that's probably not all that surprising, really. It is funny though, like living in the UK, because I know you can buy like Breyers online, obviously, in the UK, but it's not something that you really see like on the shelves in stores in the way that you do in America, which I don't know. I mean, maybe you do in like bigger cities and stuff. I don't know because obviously I've not really been to any, but I feel like that should change. Right, I'm going to move on to a larger brush in order to do the legs, because doing legs with a tiny brush is just terrifying because it takes hours. Weirdly, the only shop I found that had walls of Breyers was the most remote little village in the North Yorkshire Dales called Talking Books already. It was so remote, like you'd never find it by accident. That's crazy. I wonder if it's still there. Because I'd absolutely go if it was. That sounds so cute, honestly. Remember the days of shops like Utterly Horses, Solschleich and Breyer and Grand Champions. I don't think I have ever heard of Utterly Horses. Oh, so satisfying to have a big brush for doing legs. It is still there. Oh, amazing. Right, well, I'm putting that on my to-visit list, like, immediately next time I'm in Yorkshire. It was my way into model horses in 2007. Road trip? Yeah, absolutely. Sign me up. It's like my two favourite things, books and model horses. Well, two of my three favourite things, because obviously dinosaurs have got to be in there too. Let's go! Yeah, definitely. Model horse inspired road trip. That sounds perfect. Honestly, it makes me mad sometimes. The things that we could do if we just lived in a slightly closer proximity to each other, instead of like all the way at intervals down the country. You can drive, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, by the end of this year, I might be driving too. I've got another driving lesson on Friday. It's going to be my third one. And they're going really well as well. Like, I'm really enjoying them. It's honestly so much better than when I last tried. Because honestly, I think the last time I attempted to learn to drive, I was 18. And it was terrifying. Because my coordinational skills just, I'm not good with the manual at all. But I'm learning obviously auto now, and it's going so well. I'm driving. I'm so excited. So yeah, hopefully by the end of this year, I might be on the road as well. I used to think Anglesey to Portsmouth was a small trip. That's fair. To be honest, though, I like car journeys. I like road trips. It's something I've always found like really fun. Driving is so chill, though. When I went to the Breyer store in Reeth, it was in December, and 100% country roads. Ooh, I bet that was terrifying. Like country roads in winter is just no joke. My little Yaris was definitely not meant to be climbing hills with the ice-covered ones. Yeah, no, no. I can imagine that was quite nerve-wracking, actually. Especially like in Yorkshire area, because the roads there are just they are lethal. Like they're so up and down, but they're also really really narrow. So good luck if you run into someone else. I remember my family went camping in Yorkshire. I'll say camping. We went caravanning in Yorkshire a long time ago. And our sat nav decided it was going to just take us the scenic route, which meant we were dragging a caravan down one way, really like narrow back roads with really, really steep embankments on both sides. And when I tell you that was terrifying, terrifying does not cover it. We were just living in absolute dread of meeting another car coming the other way because I can't imagine backing a caravan for several miles down a road like that. Pitch black, just hills, no streetlights, no houses for miles around, one pub and one farm within 12 miles. You know, on a warm summer's day, I would say that sounds idyllic. In the middle of winter, yeah, not for me, thanks. I mean, it probably would be for me because I'm a bit of an adrenaline chaser. Uh, but so that would be terrifying, but also like a story to tell in the future, I guess. But yeah, no, especially in like a small car as well. Like you just feel so vulnerable on the road in a small car. My family had a Discovery Land Rover for a long time, and then my mum got a Citroen C1 as a runaround, and going from being high up off the road in a Land Rover to suddenly being in a Citroen was pretty jarring. Sounds horrifying. Yeah, it was. I don't think I've ever been so glad to see a campsite in my life. BRB, okay, I have no idea what that says, but no problem. Ah, that would make sense. Look at you talking Welsh. It's all being all non-understandable. You're just trying to get me to learn a language at this point, aren't you? That's your whole agenda. That's all this is. Hey, her legs are finally starting to look solid. That's amazing. wanted to see if you'd give Welsh a go. Yeah, no, I would die of embarrassment. I can barely manage English, and that's my mother tongue. I barely speak the English. English is a confusing language, though, let's be honest. Whoever it was that said English is like half a dozen languages wearing a trench coat was not wrong. Going to finish off these back legs, and then I'm going to let that paint dry for a bit while I move on to the mane for a little while. Get one more coat on that back leg in there. The leg that is being a problem child because the tail is in the way and I can only see what I'm doing with one eye, which is not helpful. So is Welsh. 8+ ways to say yes and no. No, thank you. That sounds even more complicated than French. I'm sort of learning Dutch at the moment, but that's proven to be quite hit and miss because I have a wonderful brain that periodically forgets that I'm learning Dutch and then randomly remembers and does a couple of lessons once every couple of months and then forgets again. It's an amazing way to learn a language, really. Hey, Cirrus, welcome, welcome. How are you? Dutch is so hard as well. I know, like some of it's really easy, and then some of it. Like I was getting on swimmingly for a while until it got into like their word for thank you. Was it please? No, it's please. Their word for please is my tongue can barely do it. It's like al subgelieft al sub. No, I can't even. I can't. It's like my tongue just goes straight to dyslexia mode. 28C now, yeah. Yes, it was chucking it down here earlier, and now it's gone back to being sunny and too hot again. You can't win in the UK. You just can't. Also, it said on the weather forecast that it wasn't going to rain today, so, you know, my lack of faith in the British weather system is justified. By general rote, in the UK, you listen to what the weatherman is saying and just accept the opposite. That's just how it works. Right, back to small brush. Mix that colour in, and let's get something on this mane. Which means I know how to figure out where the mane starts and ends. Which is not entirely clear on this model. "30 tomorrow where you are." Gosh, yeah, we're having some proper nasty temperatures in the UK this summer. Thought last summer was bad. Manes and tails are simultaneously so satisfying and also so annoying. Satisfying to do, but they're annoying because my brush likes to go and put paint on places I didn't want paint to be on. Trying to control a brush on a really uneven surface, not always a walk in the park. Love the transitions in the coat colours, looks like real fur. Thank you. Yeah, I'm working on a factory model, so the brown base coat is her factory paint, and I'm giving her white markings because I don't like plain coated models. And then when I've done that, I'm going to be going in with some pastels to redo a bit of her base colour a bit. She's got a few scratches here and there, as you can tell. So yeah, but yeah, overall I'm having a lot of fun with her white markings. Building up a lot of layers of paint. That's starting to make her look a bit more like a paint. And obviously I'll be refining her main details with black later as well. But right now I'm not too worried about where the white ends up going, as long as it's building up opacity. Your Pinto and Appy's are always so unique looking though. Oh, thank you. I think a lot of that is due to my constantly getting brush strokes where I don't want them and just adding them to the markings, and that happens like 2 million times throughout the entire thing. So it ends up being usually even more varied than I intended it to be, but I am never complaining because the more detail, the better, in my opinion. Where do I get them reshoed? I don't, mate. I can't find a blacksmith that'll take them. Right, that's where the main is at now. And that's about as far as I'm going to be able to get with her white markings on this layer. I need to let this dry properly now, otherwise it'll start lifting the paint back off with it again. And of course, I'll post some pics of the progress in proper light to put on Instagram as well, so you'll be able to see where I'm at with her properly there and really like see her markings and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to call this stream here. I will probably go live again to do some more painting on Instagram tomorrow. And I will see you all next week, hopefully, on Monday here, as per usual, provided nothing else comes up between now and then. I do try to aim to stream every Monday when possible, but sometimes life gets in the way. But a huge, huge thank you to you all for coming and spending some of your oh-so-precious time with me. It's truly appreciated. I'm always so blown away that people want to come and hang out and watch what I do and chat about ponies with me. And yeah, just a good time all round. You're all absolutely amazing. You are so welcome, Wayfaring. I have really loved having you here. And of course, I'll see you again on Instagram at some point as well. So for now, I will tell you all to stay safe, take care of yourselves, happy painting, and I will see you next time. Bye!